Yeah, I just realized like that was a bit confusing to me when I finished it. Hello everyone and welcome to Bear Talks. Today we're joined by This Is Total War.
Hello, thank you for having me.
And today we're going to be taking a look at player-made difficulty. That is, the difficulty chosen by players, or challenges if you will, when we're playing our games. To start with, This Is Total War. What's the hardest game you remember playing?
Oof. That I honestly can't tell. Maybe I should say the Western Roman Empire campaign. This is Total War, I
Wouldn't
guess.
be a bad choice.
Yeah, but there's always some FPS games on the highest difficulty that has been pretty much insane, but I can't really remember it right now, to be honest.
That's fair enough, yeah. I am honestly just thinking of like the old Halos when you get the skulls and everything. That was brutal.
Yeah.
Well, on the note of difficulties, why do you feel that you play on higher difficulties in any game?
I guess I'm a bit competitive. I think that's the word for it. I like to challenge myself when playing games, or not always. Depends on the mood I'm in. Sometimes I'm more casual, and it depends on the game, I guess. But playing on a higher difficulty, I guess there's a sense of achievement to it, I suppose. There's a lot of games I don't play on higher difficulties, more like story-driven games, like Drake's Uncharted, and I'm a big fan of the Metal Gear series, if you ever played those ones.
Yeah.
And when it's more about the story and experience the story, then I don't mind. I just play on normal or something like that. I really don't care about the difficulty, but when it comes to Total War, it's that I have been playing for quite a few years. It's a different thing.
Don't worry, we're definitely going to be coming back to Total War, obviously, with the name of your challenge being This Is Total War.
Yeah.
But on the note of that narrative separation, so looking at something like Metal Gear being such a different genre, they have a special name for it. They don't call it like adventure stealth or anything. It's espionage tactics.
Tactical espionage, something like that.
Tactical espionage, right? Wrong way around. Go on. Yes. Would you say moving between those genres, so having an open world sandbox like Total War, moving on to a narrative first person shooter to a narrative third person tactical espionage to Metal Gear, would you consider that genre is like kind of a defining feature, or is it really just the storyline that makes you choose?
Yeah, the storyline, definitely. No, it's. I always check beforehand if check reviews and stuff like that. If it's got a good rating, so you can tell if it has a good story or not. And then I just want to play it and experience the story. So it's more about the story being told rather than the actual gameplay, I guess.
I can definitely get behind that. Only recently, Battle Sector came out, a brilliant turn-based strategy. I'm playing that on normal. I want to know what happens in that game.
Yeah.
But then I am curious, what would make you then want to try those higher difficulties if you were to play, say, let's go with like a first-person shooter, a Call of Duty. What would make you then tempted to try those higher difficulties?
Yeah, because then I've already played through the campaign once, and I have the story. So then it becomes more of the challenge in doing the campaign again, but on high difficulty, and just see if I can get through and see the other side. As I was saying before, I guess it gives you a sense of achievement. So it's essentially just challenging myself in the games I want to play.
Well, I can get behind that. I'm glad you brought in that word achievement, because, of course, that's just general difficulty, difficulty of a game, progressing through it. This is player-made difficulty. This is achievement hunting or handicapping yourself for no other reason than why not? Let's complete the game with just a pistol.
Yeah.
Are there any particular challenges you enjoy within games in general? Like any particular achievements you look for?
I always, when take Battlefield for example, I always get stuck to a particular assault rifle or something like that, and I try to bring that one up to. You can get those gold plates on it, and you have to achieve different steps.
Yeah, I think I know like the skin remodel.
Yeah. It doesn't affect the weapon at all. It's just purely cosmetics. I guess it's a bit ridiculous maybe, but I always get stuck on a particular one, and I play that one until I get every single detail. Then I move on to another piece of gun or something like that.
I think that's always what kept me away from it. The idea that, like, yay, I finally did it. Now I'll start on a new gun. I'm too lazy. I play medic for Pete's sake.
And I think I saw a meme of this once. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna get that achievement. Then when you have achieved it, and it was like, yeah, time to move on. Yeah. No.
Yes, the fleeting happiness of Huazzah, it's so quick.
Yeah, very quick.
Yes, bringing this back to Total War, now we've got the computer working again. You mentioned there are some games that you would never play on higher difficulties. With a game like Total War, which is predominantly a sandbox, it's a strange title. Are there any Total War games or Total War factions you'd never play on higher difficulties?
Yeah, there's. Not recently.
That was a quick yes.
There's a lot of factions out there now, but not lately. I've been playing on Legendary for a few years now. I can't really remember when I knocked the last. Maybe 2 years, something like that. Because it's been more of a. Yeah, I've been playing Total War for a long time, since the first release of Shogun. And of course, on and off, and not every single Total War game.
Yeah, there's been a lot over the years, fair enough.
Yeah, and I probably had a break for a few years or something like that. It was even a time when I didn't have a computer that could run a Total War game, but I mostly played Shogun, and the Medieval 1 and 2 I played, and then I moved on to Empire and Total War Attila, and a bit of Rome 2, but not that much. So I guess the storyline has been following along here. I started on easy, that was a long time ago, and then eventually went up to normal, and then on hard, and then finally legendary difficulty. So it's been a continuous progression sort of thing.
Oh, I do actually have to ask something, because I don't actually know that many people who play on Legendary. I was very thankful to have found you and be like, oh, I found another. But when you get a new Total War, how do you get into Legendary on that? Do you just jump in, pick a faction, see what happens?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Well, I feel bad now.
Nah, don't. I know I'm well aware that a lot of people play on normal difficulty and even on easy difficulty, and that's because everyone has their own uh,
Yeah, definitely.
reasons and stuff like that, and being more casual and all that stuff. So everyone can play the difficulty that they feel like. For me, it's just I'm I guess I have become comfortable with legendary difficulty. Yeah, so I just yeah legendary and jump into it. I don't find it. Um, there's always a bit of a learning curve when entering a new Total War game with the new mechanics and stuff like that, and units, specific units type, and that sort of stuff. But in terms of um, legendary, it's it's not. I don't find it that hard to get into a new game, if you know what I mean.
No, I, I know what you mean. I do have a different way to get around it. So just to fill in, the way I would always start a brand new Total War, I pick the faction I most want to play right from the beginning, and then I line up all the other factions I don't really care about, and I work my way through normal, hard, very hard, then legendary. I'm playing on the faction I want to, because legendary is a slog. You need to enjoy it. You need to have to want to play it in order to get through it. Whereas with the others, it's all about, as you said, like learning the new mechanics, learning the new campaign map, learning the new units. So that progression really is just learning the game. Because when you hit legendary, as far as I'm concerned, if you don't know like the basics behind it, like I'm trying to think of a good example. Most recently doing Three Kingdoms, I learned on normal that the Heaven's Guard, I think it is, the green spear users, that when you become an emperor, were really good. But on very hard, they were not worth the money. So going on to legendary, I was like, oh yeah, I better not touch them because it's just not worth it.
Yeah.
And
that makes perfect sense. To do it like that. I should probably add that when I first start up a new campaign in a new Total War game, and even with a new faction that I haven't played before, I spend quite a lot of time looking at all the screens and the stats of the units and stuff like that, so I know what the strengths and weaknesses are, and then I also replay a lot of battles in the beginning. So that would probably be my number one tip if you want to get better at battles. Replay the same battle, even if you win or lose. Just try different approaches to them. Then you learn a lot on how your units work and the general mechanics of the game. So once you figure that part out, it becomes easier. So it's just a different way to it.
Yeah, I'm just sat here thinking, like, so we've done the same thing, we've got to the same endpoint, and even though I think mine would take longer, I still see it as the lazier version. So I haven't really had to learn anything. I've just played a game and been like, oh, that's how this works. Go on though. So you're starting off your campaigns. You're not daunted. You're playing on legendary. You're used to it by now. Why? Why this is Total War? The big question.
Yeah. I guess the first time I did a THISISTOTALWAR War campaign, and I went through the diplomacy and just declared war on every faction, I was thinking to myself, you're a bit of a lunatic, right?
Little bit.
A little bit. I think it's a brilliant challenge. It was Legend of Total War. that was the first time I even, when I saw he did the the Western Roman Empire campaign, that was the first time I was even aware that challenge existed.
No,
That got
I
me
can say
like,
the same. Yeah, I can't remember what faction he was playing as, but I saw him play This Is Total War campaign. I was like, wow, that's a thing.
yeah, yeah, it did. Exactly. I didn't know either because I don't go through all the Steam achievements and what they say
Well,
always, but
this is pre-Steam, yeah, because it became an achievement, I think, in Shogun. I think that's when they first introduced the achievement for it. Maybe
yeah, I
Rome
think so.
2. Sorry, Shogun 2, Rome 2.
Yeah,
But,
some of those two games because it's not in Empire. I know that, but when I saw that, I was just thinking like, cool challenge. This is kind of like, I think it's brilliant. It really takes the core of Total War for me and to the extreme, because
the very
it's about
extreme.
waging war and yeah, very extreme. It's about waging war and making it a digital war campaign. Yeah, I think it's a cool challenge. I was a bit intrigued by it, so I just wanted to try it out, and I have been having a lot of fun with those campaigns. But I've just continued with it, and of course I play regular campaigns as well. But I always have a This Is Total War challenge running in some game.
Just can't get the monkey off your back.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm intrigued then. What was your first This Is Total War campaign, and how did it go?
Actually, it was the Western Roman Empire,
Wow.
but not the one I have recorded.
Mm-hmm.
I actually did the beginning of it, and it went. I just wanted to try it out, and it was my second go as the Western Roman Empire as well. Mm-hmm. So I've done 3 campaigns if I count the one I have on my channel, but I haven't finished the first 2 ones. The first time I did it, I have a hard time remembering how far I got into that one. But I know I burned myself out a bit on that campaign, as I have done with many earlier campaigns. Playing them for days back to back, and then just I'm done. But then, the second try was that This Is Total War with the Western Roman Empire, and it went fairly okay. I lost more territory than I have done in the recorded one, and I got to the point where Attila had arrived, and I have beaten him once, I think. Then it was the same thing there. I have burned myself out a bit on the campaign because there's a lot of defensive sieges in that one. Everyone who has played the Western Roman Empire campaign knows that, and that can be a bit draining. Absolutely.
Very draining. Yeah. I would say both Western and Eastern Roman Empire are time-wise the longest campaigns I think I've ever played.
Yeah, it's if you get I see those comments all the time within the community on Facebook and stuff like that. So, are you having fun with your 255th siege defense now?
On turn 5?
Yeah, on turn 5. So I think So yeah, it went okay, but then I can't even remember when I stopped that one. But it was a few months after that I started up the YouTube channel and was like, I need to go back and finish that one and have a fresh start. So obviously the early game of the Western Roman Empire campaign, I had my strategy laid out, planned out.
Pre-planned, organized, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely something you need to have when having a go with that challenge and playing the Western Roman Empire, because that's it's a hard one. It's a hard one.
Yeah, I mean, going back to your idea of like saying starting off on a legendary campaign, having it pre-organized and replaying battles and stuff. Yeah, I particularly if you're going for any kind of challenge, try it like 3 or 4 times. Don't expect to continue, just try a few different things 3 or 4 times. Because that's the most important part of any Total War campaign, is those first few turns. If you can get the first 3, 4, 5 turns solid, you've got a pretty good chance of winning the rest of it.
Yeah, I know when Legend of Total War did his Western Roman Empire campaign, I know he mentioned that he had done a pre-play of that one as well, just to see what goes on, and I just think it's a necessary thing to do, honestly.
Actually, I 100% agree. Yeah, if you're gonna try legendary, play it a few times before. If you're gonna try a challenge, definitely play it a few times.
Yeah, for sure.
On the note of doing this is Total War campaign, you've done a normal campaign then for the Western Roman Empire and the This is Total War campaign. How do you feel this challenge has affected the way the game played out?
In a lot of ways, I suppose. But there's mostly disadvantages to it. But
true.
But you do have one advantage, and that is you don't have to worry about being backstabbed by an ally or something like that. So you just go out assuming that you're going to be attacked on all fronts.
Mm-hmm.
So then at least you know what to expect to some extent.
I'm just wondering how it has affected how the game was played. So you were saying that it's kind of a lot of disadvantages. Do you feel that's restricted your enjoyment of the game though, or has it affected how you've gone about playing it?
It hasn't restricted my enjoyment of it, on the contrary, but it's basically the same but more extreme, more factions and more stacks coming at you. And then there's the obvious one that you can't issue any trade deals, so and that obviously affects your economy and the troops you can field in your army. So that adds another layer to it. You have to be more cautious what to recruit and how much and stuff like that. But other than that, into actual changes, it's more you're going to see some weird behavior from the AI factions.
True.
I actually have a good example of that on Troy, because I did one with Odysseus that I haven't finished, but at the end there, I think it's because there was one episode that I recorded that I didn't upload to YouTube, but so I don't know if that shows on the uploaded episode or not. But then because they're always doing the This is Total War challenge as well, and then you see, Odysseus is all on the one side on the map, and all of a sudden you see, I don't remember if it was Hector or Paris of Troy, that is on the other side. They was just entering my lands, and I was thinking like, so you mean that Hector of Troy has sailed across the sea and marched through all of Greece, through enemy territory, just to get to me alongside 10 other factions trying to destroy me? And there's the same thing in Attila as well, all the Sassanid puppet states that are also on the other side of the map, just showing up with a full stack and just going through all the way through the map and just to get to me. So that's the change, I would say, in that sense. So it does, I guess it breaks the behavior of the AI a bit, I guess.
Yeah, I was thinking that it kind of it's not doesn't really sound like the same game when you say that's happening. Like that does sound like completely different.
Yeah, it feels out of script, definitely.
I don't know why. I'm assuming they didn't actually go all the way to England. Did they? The Sassanid puppet thing?
No.
I was gonna say like,
Actually,
whoa, that would have been epic.
Yeah, that would have been something really, but no, not.
Yeah, just to like Italy or into Africa or something like that, like
Yeah,
passing Eastern
south of,
Romans. Yeah.
yeah, south of Italy and Sicily and you know, Tripolitana, north of Africa there. But at the same time, you know, I was thinking like, I was expecting them to arrive, but it's at the same time it's a long trip.
Yeah, you expect to meet them quite from Western Roman Empire. Quite a late game for me that was. I didn't actually make it down there for ages.
Yeah, and then suddenly when I finally arrived in the Far East, I see all these raised territories, which I assume was the work of the White Huns. But it's kind of funny, you know. Okay, so you're at war with me, but you have the White Huns that you need to defend your borders, but you're still sending a stack towards my way.
Wish my campaign went like that. It's getting stuck there as the White Hoods. But no, interesting stuff. So go on. So you kind of feel like it changes that behavior. By the sounds of it, you're getting like essentially a brand new game.
Yeah, everyone wants to kill you.
No, it's not necessarily a nice game, but it is a brand new one.
Yeah.
No. Go on. So that's using This Is Total War campaign as an example. Have you ever tried for any other challenge campaigns, any other player-made difficulties?
Yeah, sure. There have been all different kinds of challenges through the years, and I mean,
give us like a top 3 from your choice. What would you say are the best challenges you'd recommend?
That's a hard one as well. But apart from the This Is Total War challenge, I like to role play a bit at times when I play. So having one of my armies, trying to keep them undefeated to really be the victorious ones, you know, never get beaten with that stack. And that's one of them.
That is seriously difficult.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It is. So you have to really be strategic about and really cautious on how you approach. With that army.
Just for the record, I have that achievement in Rome, Rome 2. The only reason is I used one army for the first few turns and then never used them again. They just sat in Rome and they chilled. That is how you cheese it.
Forever glorious.
Yeah. Just, you know, they won like 4 battles. That counts.
Still undefeated, though. Undefeated. Yeah. I don't really have a top 3, but this This Is Total War challenge it's the extreme end of it. Then you have all these other types of challenges you can do, and which I don't always do a challenge. As I said, I also do just plain regular campaigns. Um, but sometimes I add just an achievement or a challenge to add a bit of spice to it, and that could range from trying to keep a stack unbeaten throughout the game and actually using them actively then.
Yeah, just add that extra bit in there.
Yeah. And it could be small things. If you play like the lag mids in Talwar Attila and break free from the Sassanids on turn one, that's also a kind of challenge. So the one I haven't actually tried and I will probably never do is the is it Caesar Reborn or something like that? But you do need to play every single battle manually to get it.
Is this the one where I've seen it popping up on Reddit to remake the Roman Empire in the time frame?
Yeah.
Or is this to fight every battle, the achievement, and win?
Yeah, I think it's called Caesar Reborn, or it's a Legendary General, maybe. One of the two.
Do you remember which game? I'll have a quick look.
Check the Attila one, because it's definitely in there. But that one feels.
So I'm sorry, I'm clicking achievements and it keeps showing me pictures. I don't care about the Rise of Mordor. Where are my achievements? Sorry, you were saying.
Yeah, but that one I will probably never do because maybe I'm sitting here playing into Western Roman Empire campaign and all the defensive sieges. That's tedious. But I feel like playing and fighting every single battle manually, that feels tedious for me, because that means you're going to fight a lot of battles that are just certain wins.
So so this is Nazebase now talking, not me. Veni Vedi Vici, or Veni Vedi Vici, however you want to pronounce it. Yeah, complete an entire campaign by playing and winning every battle.
Yeah. I know there's people that have done that one, but that one I know I won't do.
Okay.
But yeah, there's a lot of different challenges you can do, and I think it always adds a bit of fun to the campaign you're playing.
So I will say, from what you've said of those challenges, it's a lot of narrative challenges. There's kind of that role play aspect coming through. Have you ever tried out any of the horse only or no spears, tier 2 units only, that sort of challenge?
Actually, no. I haven't done any that sort of stuff. I have been thinking about doing a horse only one or cavalry only, but I don't know. Those kind of challenges don't appeal to me in the same way. More like, but I have done like putting under other types of restrictions, like I only get to recruit a certain number of troops per turn and stuff like that.
Okay.
To keep it, because that feels a bit more realistic. I guess you could say. At least it does to me.
Yeah, I mean, like in real life, you probably could not recruit 20 soldiers from one place.
Yeah, and it's kind of getting back to the medieval 2 mechanics.
Yeah, when you had the limited recruitment pool for each type of unit.
Yeah, I really enjoy that, because that's one thing I have been I would want to see in the newer titles, that you can't just spam stack, because it feels like when doing because then if you lose a stack, that doesn't really hurt you all that much. But if you have very restricted, if you're very restricted in what you can recruit, and your army becomes much more valuable.
Yeah, it's weird because I know how much hate it gets, but for Thrones of Britannia, I actually think did it really well with the way that they had a recruitment pool for each individual unit, and it was a universal pool, but it was still, you had that similar Medieval 2 mechanic of you can only recruit 2 of the best axemen, and then the rest of them are just militia, whatever else you can get.
I actually didn't know about that because I haven't played Thrones of Britannia. That's one of the games that
out.
No, I have, a part of me wants to play that game, but I was one of those who definitely was too affected by all the negativity when it being released.
It's not a dead horse, right? So you can get some enjoyment from it. But it's kind of like they showed up promising a horse and they gave you a donkey and you're like, mate, that's not a horse. What you chatting? Like, it's still alive, but it's not a horse. I don't know where that metaphor's going, to be honest. But no, it's a good game. It's good fun. And even though I can admit full-heartedly, if I paid full price for that, I would have been ticked off. But if you're getting it on discount, I mean... I'd say there's $5 worth of fun in that.
Okay, I actually have that one in my Steam library, so I do have the game. I picked it up on a discount. I don't remember how much, but
it's been on massive discounts for the recent sales. Yeah,
I didn't get on the cheapest side of it, but definitely under €10 or something like that. So yeah.
I'd say you could enjoy it for that.
At some point, I will probably start up a campaign and try it out. Because I want to see for myself and experience a game for myself and see if I like it or not. But it was just a huge swirl of negativity when that arrived. So I was on the verge of clicking the buy button and then was maybe not. So
yeah, I mean, I'm not going to defend all the bugs and all the issues in that. There are a lot. In fact, a lot of the reasons I enjoy it are for the things that are broken in it. But actually, I would say it's a great example of a game that really is assisted by having that player-made difficulty. When you get the chance, have a go. Legendary difficulty, playing as Huazzah, you will win. You will not struggle. You will be able to conquer the entire map. And I'm actually saying that to just anyone who knows how to play a Total War game can do that. It really is that easy.
Right.
That being said, when you bring in some of the more stupid of challenges, then it gets really fun. Like, I was trying to think, what did we have? I wasn't allowed to give anyone the settlements. I had to hold it to myself, and if they broke away and rioted, I had to kill them. That made the game so long, but it was really fun just being the most douchebag king I could. Like, once more, narrative roleplay coming in.
Yeah. And I don't think I've seen anyone doing a This is Total War in Thrones of Britannia. I don't think so.
I really want to say Legend of Total War did, but I'm pretty sure he played it like once and then just never played it again.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think we'll have to have a look-see at that one. You could be our first. Give it a taster. I haven't done that one. This is Total War either. I played it properly and realized how easy it was. Because Total War is a narrative campaign, it's a sandbox, open game designed to let you tell a story of an empire you start off. Why do you feel that challenge adds, or what do you feel that challenge adds to forging that narrative?
It just adds to the fun. Again, it's because it helps prevent that or delaying that steamroll part, because
Mm-hmm.
for me it has always been like that. You start up a campaign and you can struggle a bit in the beginning, but once you get big enough and it's just a steamroll the rest of the campaign.
Yeah.
Um, so adding this challenge to it just adds to the difficulty, and that's, for me, that makes it more fun and enjoyable. So in terms of narrative, it's more like you're playing the Mad King or something like that.
Yeah. I'll go with that. Cool. It's actually an interesting point I hadn't thought of. Any challenge is a great, almost like a delaying tactic to prevent that steamroll, because anyone who's played Total War, we all know what the steamroll is. You hit mid-game, you've won.
Yeah. And I think they're doing things to prevent that with Troy right now, and just restricting the amount of armies you can field, because it does cost you so much to just pop up another army in terms of supply lines and stuff like that. So they might be onto something. I'm not sure yet, but they're definitely trying to prevent that steamroll part, and I would really like to see that, because you need to have something that makes the mid to end game more interesting. Shogun 2 does it good with the realm divide, right?
Good being debatable. Yeah, it does have the realm divide specifically to prevent that. I think it's like 18 provinces, and then all war breaks out. Or if you take Kyoto.
Because that's another one of those games I haven't played. And I definitely need to go back into a campaign on. But I've seen a couple of Let's Play on it, so I do know about the mechanics. So it just seems like you need to have things that makes mid to end game interesting. And adding the THISISTOTALWAR challenge, that definitely extends the lifespan of the campaign. It remains challenging for a long time.
And that's just something I was thinking. Do you feel like, so for example with the Troy element coming through, they have the new ideas surrounding supplies, that essentially CA is starting to do now what people have been doing since Shogun the original, in creating that challenge artificially within game mechanics, rather than just saying, some players will, some players won't.
Not sure about that. As I said, I think they might be onto something, and I think have you ever seen H4 Avoc's videos? Or some of his videos? I think
I have, but I've been watching his Company of Heroes stuff lately. I haven't seen anything from Total War. Sorry.
I know. I just know that he mentioned with the Mythos DLC being released that there's another thing that they are doing. I don't really remember, so I can't really talk about it. But it's designed to counter that steamroll part, and it has to do something with the supply lines and stuff like that. So as you expand your empire, it becomes it also gets more difficult to sustain it, I guess. So I'm not sure how I will check that out and see how that plays out. So I don't know if it's, but they might be onto something, and I don't know if I'm getting a bit off topic here, but
no, it's so a large part of player-made difficulty is often creating a challenge where there isn't one because you're unsatisfied with the game as it stands. It's a very similar system to modding, but like super low effort, which is why I love it. I much prefer just deciding arbitrarily I won't use Katana Samurai for the rest of this Shimazu campaign, because that would be a stupid thing to do, and it's kind of fun. But
yeah, but because you have the difficulty settings in games. They are there to for you as a player being able to decide to pick a difficulty that suits you well. And I know this, they haven't done an excellent job with what raising the difficulty actually does to the game. We all know about that. It only gives you buffs or debuffs, and you couldn't. After Legendary, I wouldn't want to play with more buffs or debuffs either, because that would just make it too. It would just make it too ridiculous. And I know there's a large part that still plays on normal, even though they have played Total War for a long time as well, just because that's where it's balanced. So whether you add a player-made challenge playing on normal or Legendary, it doesn't matter. But it all comes down to the same thing, just adding another type of difficulty to the campaign you want to play to make it more enjoyable. I think there's a place for the player-made difficulty, absolutely. Just there you can pick and choose, and you can't create a better AI yourself for the Total War game, so that's what you got basically.
Sorry, completely back. Welcome to part 2, 3, maybe 4, depending on how I edit this. Huzzah! Exactly. I don't get enough huzzahs online. We need more. I've heard a lot of huzzahs though. It sucks. Either way,
you definitely do a good huzzah.
I don't know why, but when I was on excavation, I was well known for just in the morning, just shouting huzzah! Good morning to thee, and how art thou upon this fine morn? I was like, what? I was like, it's fine. I'm tired. I need my coffee. But complete side point. I was actually going to bring in for this is Total War, the name of your channel, the name of a style of play within a Total War game. I'm just going to jump straight into this. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. So I did a video where I talked about going over different parts of Total War and the things I want to see moving into Total War 3. Within it, I mentioned the fact that in a This Is Total War campaign, if you're playing on Legendary, there's no way to reset, because you can't save the game unless you want to exit and find it in the files, the hidden files. It's too much effort.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can't say right from the beginning, I want to do This Is Total War, please organize all faction interaction for me, because the chances are you're going to miss one. I can honestly say there are many This Is Total War campaigns that I have failed because I just forgot to go to war with someone.
Yeah, same here.
It's infuriating. But what would you like to see in regards to a This Is Total War campaign in the future?
Yeah, definitely a box that I can tick in at the screen when starting up the campaign. Just make it at This Is Total War, because as you said, it's so easy to miss in clicking, because you do get notified when discovering new faction, but they aren't really. They're easy to miss.
Yeah.
And then when you hit that enter, and you go like, well, there goes the achievement. But so it would really be a nice thing to have. At the same time, I think, because I definitely missed one early in my Western Roman Empire campaign. I think it was the Langobards or something like that, pretty early. So the Steam achievement went out the window early, but at the same time, if you miss one faction, maybe even two, it doesn't really do much in regarding to difficulty. So for me, it's more about just the challenge of the campaign. As long as that stays the same, the achievement isn't the if I miss out on that, it is not the end of the world. It's not a
Yeah.
big deal, but it would definitely be a nice thing to have as an option when starting up a new campaign. Definitely.
Well, if let's imagine they do, which would be amazing. Do you feel this would entice more people to give it a go?
Yeah, probably. But I think this type of challenge would probably be a bit scary to, because
Mhm.
I guess they obviously need to draw new people into the game, and there's already a pretty steep learning curve if you haven't played any other Total War game before.
Yeah.
So uh, that might be a bit off-putting for new players to see another information box and, oh, what does this mean, or something like that. But if you have, if you have played Total War before and you you find it a bit too easy, you should definitely give this challenge a go, because I know there's been other people reaching out to me and saying that they started playing this challenge when they saw that I did, and have been enjoying that one really much. So obviously it's more fun than it might seem at first glance. But with that being said, very frustration. You can get very frustrated as well. Definitely.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's really good to hear that people have sort of been inspired to give it a go. Because it is good fun. It is a genuine challenge. Even playing on normal, honestly, if you don't want to play on legendary, that's fine. Just give this a go on normal difficulty. It can make some of those factions tricky, very tricky.
Yeah, I can imagine that. It's yeah, I was a bit scared of the challenge at first. As I said, uh, as we talked before, first time doing it, I was thinking like, oh my god, what am I doing? Felt like a lunatic, but um, yeah, it's good fun.
Also, the final question I have is actually, would you recommend it to others?
Yeah, definitely. As I said, if you're familiar with Total War and find it a bit too easy, then definitely give it a go, and you will have a good time, I think. But of course, it also depends on what type of player you are. If you're being more casual about it, maybe not. And if you just want to game and have it and relax, maybe that's not the challenge for you. Um, but if you want to push your boundaries a bit, definitely give this one a go.
I can 100% get behind that idea. If you want to push your boundaries in this game, yeah, This is Total War is a great campaign for that. But, well, that is very nicely taken us actually well and truly over time. I have a great knack of doing that. But it's been brilliant having everyone, brilliant having you on. This is Total War. Thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been a blast.
And of course, just to finish off with, what can we expect coming onto your channel in the future?
Of course, more This is Total War challenges. I have one that will be published very, very soon with the Himyar, but that's just a one episode kind of thing. And I will do Charlemagne, and I will probably get back to Troy a bit and check out the Mythos DLC.
Excellent, some great stuff coming up. Particularly the Mythos. Going to war with everything. I'm just imagining going to war with like Cerberus and Hydra at the same time.
Yeah,
that would be cool.
That's actually one of those I might do a regular one. I haven't decided on that one yet, but Charlemagne is definitely a This is Total War challenge.
Oh, excellent. Well, Very big thank you for joining us once more, and to everyone who's watched. Till next time, peace out.